Welcome to A Fistful of Lenses, the home of real-world lens reviews. In this episode, we'll be taking a closer look at the zeiss Tessar 50mm f2.8 lens, also known as the Eagle's Eye. Or to be more accurate, we'll be reviewing three versions of this legendary optic: the early silver T version, and its later zebra replacement, and then the black MC version. Mechanically and cosmetically they differ. The early silver version is a preset lens, a small lens beautifully crafted with no less than 14 aperture blades. The later versions have a simpler design with only 5 aperture blades. But all versions of this lens have the same optical formula of 4 elements in 3 groups, described as a modified Cook triplet. The design draws its lineage from 1902 and is the brainchild of Paul Rudolph. So what was the world like in 1902? Well, let's take that trip together down memory lane. In 1902, the Real Madrid football team came into existence. Also, the famous photographer Ansel Adams was born, and the infamous gunslinging bank robber Kid Curry was imprisoned. And at 99 years of age, my great-great-grandfather still refused to use glasses. That remarkable man simply drank from the bottle. And that was the world scene when Paul Rudolph came up with the Tessar design. So it'll be interesting to see what this lens, whose design goes back to the Edwardian age, is capable of during this digital age. For this review, I'll be using the Canon 5D Mark III, the Fuji X-T1 and the Sony A7R Mark III. And as always, the stills and video will be unedited, straight out of camera, so as not to disguise the character of these old lenses. So let's start with the Canon 5D Mark III and the silver Tessar, as we look at images taken at the small seaside towns of Saundersfoot and Tenby in southwest Wales. Firstly, of all the zeiss lenses out there, the Tessars are probably the easiest to come by and amongst the cheapest to acquire. But its lens design does have its drawbacks, chiefly of which is its slow maximum aperture of just f2.8. Staying with the silver Tessar, let's switch to the Fuji X-T1 as we look at images taken at Goitre Wharf in South Wales. Like all the zeiss lenses I've tested so far, the silver Tessar handles colours beautifully, and I would describe it as slightly enhanced and saturated, but subtly done, with a naturalness to them. And all this from a lens that's nearly 75 years of age. So now let's switch to the Sony, and let's try the 3 different versions of the Tessar with a similar scene, and see if we can spot any difference between these versions when used with the same Sony sensor. I'm particularly interested in the colours here and the bokeh. Is there any difference between the 3 versions? When shot wide open at f2.8, the bokeh looks consistent between versions. Each lens is capable of exhibiting that beautiful bubble bokeh that turns slightly elliptical towards the edges of the frame. Of note is the silver Tessar with its 14 aperture blades, whose focus stays round even when stopped down, unlike the newer versions. And as for colours, I would say that too is broadly consistent between versions, but it's difficult to be absolutely sure when using a lens outdoors because of the change in light. So how would I summarise the 3 Carl Zeiss Tessars? And which eagle's eye is sharper? Firstly, each Tessar has something I prefer. Call me old-fashioned, but I like the styling of the Zeiss Zebra lenses. There is no getting away from it, the early silver version is mechanically superior, with its 14 aperture blades that keeps its focus circular throughout its aperture range. But there again it's a preset lens, it takes a bit of getting used to. The black MC version is said to have superior coatings, which would probably be more apparent when shooting into the light. And which eagle's eye is sharpest? Well, I feel that the Zebra version has the edge, which surprised me, as I assumed, wrongly, that the newer black MC version would be an improvement in this regard. So on balance for me, I think the Zebra version gets the nod, but I can see why others would make a different choice. And it's having that choice that's all part of the fun of using vintage lenses. Whichever one you choose, I'm sure you won't be disappointed. To conclude, I think it's remarkable that a lens that owes its optical design to the Edwardian age over 120 years ago can still be of use to us in this digital age, and it's a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of those early optical designers. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and ring that bell, and then who knows, you might see me out there in the real world, snapping away happily with a fistful of lenses. Until next time, bye for now.